Hi everybody, Mike from the Rural Montana family here. We're going to look at where we're at now with Starlink. We are about 3 months in, just got another bill, so it is 3 months. And we'll see if it improved since our first video that we had when we were 3 weeks in. Let's go. So first I would like to thank everybody that watched our first video. I'd like to thank everybody that left a comment and gave us tips and tricks. Question now is, has it improved or not? Well, let me explain. So initially we had some trouble and we really didn't get the speeds that we were supposed to. A lot of people pointed out, oh, you're too close to the trees, you have obstructions. Well, we didn't. We were not too close to the trees. Actually, one comment pointed out the flagpole, and that person was right. The flagpole was actually in the field of view, just about the top few feet off the pole, but it didn't create an obstruction. So when we looked at the statistics, we didn't show any obstructions. We never showed obstructions, no matter what we did. When we checked, it didn't show anything. So we didn't really have obstructions that affected the system. If I used the cell phone and checked the field of view, I did see obstructions to the northeast, but it didn't affect the system working because the system itself did not see those obstructions. It did not pick up a signal in that area from a satellite. It actually picks it up in a much smaller area. But anyway, eventually I contacted Starlink to find out what's going on, why are our speeds so low, and why we do have such weird things like our TV, when it downloaded the YouTube thumbnails, it would leave some of them gray and there was no thumbnail there. We got a response, and the response basically was they can see the obstruction, which is really cool. I mean, if they can actually see that I have the obstruction, that tells me they really did something and they really looked at the field of view of the satellite dish. And so they've seen the obstruction that I can see in the field of view on the cell phone. But that said, they were not really concerned about it because they could also tell that it actually didn't pick up any signal from that far over. I asked them what the satellite, how big the angle is that the satellite picks up signals in. And they said it's a 100-degree angle that it can pick up signals in. And that doesn't mean it does so. It does it in a very narrow beam and not at a 100-degree angle. A 100-degree angle is huge. And that's when you check your field of view with your cell phone, you check that 100-degree angle. And doing the 100-degree angle gives the satellite more options. But picking it up very far to one or the other side is not as good as picking it up straight ahead of the actual dish. The actual dish works much more efficient straight out rather than very far off to either side. But it's amazing that the satellite dish actually can, and they have proven to me that they can even test that out because they've seen the obstructions I had in the northeast. But anyway, the speed answer from them, it was the usual answer. Everybody basically gets the same speed. There is no difference where you are located and whatnot, I guess. It was the standard answer that you also could look up in the troubleshooting. If you go through all the troubleshooting online on Starlink or on your cell phone, you can find all these answers. And I pretty much got the standard answer there too. So I should have had higher speeds. Overall, other than the little obstruction, they didn't really say much what I could do at this point. So I just replied and pointed out again that when I look at my stats, I don't see any obstructions, never ever, only beta downtime. And so then a few days later again, we were about 2-3 weeks in maybe after my first email, I finally got a answer that was really good. They said that they just did some updates and that I should unplug my satellite, leave it unplugged for a few minutes and plug it back in. And then it should download an update and it should work much better. So I did. I had to wait till late in the day until we were all done with everything, as my wife works from home and needs the internet, so I couldn't just shut it down in the middle of the day and take a chance that it would quit completely. So I waited till the end of the day, did that, and then basically went to bed. And then after that, I was gone for several weeks. We couldn't really do many tests or anything. My wife was at home. She worked from home. Everything seemed to be all right, but I couldn't really test and see if it improved. As I came back a few weeks later, I didn't notice super huge improvements. The speed actually increased. We were now reading speeds at around 70 megabits per second. Before that was the highest we ever seen before, and now this was about the average. So it definitely improved. Also, there were less problems with the downloading on every device. Things showed up properly and pretty quick. And so I kind of focused more on that to see if actually our devices work properly rather than focusing on the speed. Focusing on the speed is one thing a lot of people do, but that doesn't really help me to know how fast is it really going if the download stuff doesn't work right, if things don't show up properly on our devices, or if I can't run all devices together at the same time and things like that. So I focused on testing that. And we do have, we run 2 laptops, a tablet, and 2 cell phones, and a TV on this system. Also, the cell phones, they're both set to Wi-Fi calling, so our phone calls on the cell phones go through the Starlink. Out here is no cell phone reception. That's why we need Starlink, because there's nothing here. So on every device, it definitely improved compared to before that update. And now, even a few weeks later, it improved even more. So once in a while, when I did a speed test, like I said, it was about in the 70s. Then eventually we hit 100. And so here lately, we are hitting 70. I seen 220 last night. So we're hitting the speeds now, no doubt about it. The weather has some influence on it. I noticed that, but the influence is not super huge, but there is an influence on it. But we're getting huge speeds. But the huge speeds, they're fine. But I have to say, even when we only got the 70 average, all our devices worked wonderful. And we couldn't complain anymore. I mean, there's the beta downtime that we just have. And that happens every so often. And so if something doesn't load immediately, I usually click over to the Starlink router real quick on the laptop or wherever I'm at and check the stats to see if there is or what is going on. And usually it's beta downtime. So, but most of the times it's just very short. Once in a while we drop a phone call because of it, which is kind of inconvenient, but so it has improved drastically. In the beginning, we dropped lots of phone calls on Wi-Fi calling. Now we hardly ever do drop a phone call, and all devices work wonderful on it. So it definitely has improved. What did we learn from this whole experience here? One thing is it doesn't need such a wide field of view. So even if you have some obstructions in that field of view, you will be able to make this work possibly without any interruptions at all, as the actual angle that it picks up satellite signal in is much narrower than the 100 degrees than it can do. And the more satellites that are getting up there, the better this will get anyway. So there's a possibility, even if you have a lot of stuff around, that you could use Starlink. Another thing we learned is the router does not necessarily update automatically. That's why we were asked and are actually told to unplug and plug it back in, because it may not update if you don't reboot it. So what you should do is probably reboot that thing every so often. Yeah, you can do it off your cell phone, or you can just unplug it and plug it back in, as simple as that. And then it will check and download the latest and greatest software and may improve drastically from before. So that's another thing we definitely learned. So the last thing we have to work out here is the location of the dish. It's still sitting out there on the lawn at this point. Now the snow is finally gone, and we can find a permanent location now, because it's got to get off the lawn. We already know this, as we have to do stuff outside and we walk in front of it. Obviously, we lose signal. We have obstructions. So as we're walking by, we create a problem. So we need to place it somewhere else. I already figured out it's not going on the roof because we're too close to the trees. So I will have to put it on a pole out there somewhere. Gotta install a pole and put it up there. But I would like to put it a little further out so it doesn't sit right in the middle where it is right now. I don't want it in the middle of the lawn. I would rather have it off to the side, which will require the cable to be extended. There's extensions available that you can buy. I actually already ordered a category 8 cable that I want to run through a duct, a conduit, sorry, not a duct, a conduit that's in the ground, going out front where we have the telephone box hookup that is underground. And so I want to run it out there, and then from there we keep running it out another about 100 feet. So we'll have a total of 250 feet of cable. We're going to use the 100 feet that come with the dish, plus another 100 feet Cat 8. And then we have a patch cord, and then it goes into the house. There's another about 50 feet of Cat 6 at that point. Not sure if that's going to work that long, because that's a total of about 250 feet. I've seen commercially available 100-foot extensions that are sold for Starlink, not by Starlink, but I found them online, and so I would assume adding 100 feet should work. I'm not sure how this will affect our speed again, or how it functions overall. So I guess I will have to make another update after we installed it and used it in its permanent place further out on a pole. So at this point, all I can say, basically, Starlink works great. It has improved greatly. Starlink also just sent an email out that they're pretty much done with their beta testing and kind of make this a permanent thing here shortly. Also, you may have seen in the news that they want to expand it as a mobile product, so it can go on big rigs, RVs, boats, even airplanes. And so the geofencing that several others tested that never really existed was more to lock people in, that they just don't move the dish around and take somebody else's bandwidth away. But basically, the more satellite there are, the faster it will work everywhere, and it shouldn't be a problem even if you move that dish around, go somewhere with it, take it on vacation or whatever. So, but that's a whole different ball game there. So we need to get ours first completely set up here, tested, and then we'll see. We'll make another video about it and see how good it is at that point. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best of my knowledge. Like I said in the first video, we're just using Starlink. We're not technology people in general, and so we're just the average person. But if we can handle it, I'm pretty sure you can handle it, and Starlink can work for you out in the boonies. I have to say, I see in some of the videos where people that have 100 megabit cable connections coming in ordered Starlink. Is kind of like, you don't need Starlink. Why don't you let us here in the boonies have it first, maybe, so that we can enjoy finally some faster internet. And we sure did. Upload speeds were much faster, obviously, too. So now my YouTube videos don't take 12 hours to upload anymore. They take an hour and a half to upload, and we can watch 4K videos now, no problem, while we still have multiple devices going. So, big thumbs up for Starlink. Also, please give us a thumbs up for this video. Please leave a comment down below. Share the videos with friends and family. Watch our other videos, and please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.